Imagine this. You're living alone. The doors are locked, the windows tightly shut, and yet things start to disappear. At first, you doubt yourself, but one night, as a last resort, you install a camera in your home. Then, what you see turns your world upside down. Fukuoka, Japan, 2008. A middle-aged man lived alone in a small apartment in the city center. His life was simple, quiet, and orderly, but recently an inexplicable sense of unease had begun to gnaw at him. Food in his kitchen was disappearing. A drink bottle seemed slightly emptier than before. The toilet seat was left up. At first, he attributed it to his own carelessness. Maybe I forgot. Maybe I'm sleepwalking, he thought. But a more disturbing possibility began to whisper in the back of his mind. When his suspicions became unbearable, he made a decision. He installed a small security camera in the kitchen. The camera operated silently. The next day, he began reviewing the footage. Hours passed with nothing unusual, until shortly after midnight. Suddenly, one of the high cabinet doors in the kitchen slowly creaked open. A hand emerged, followed by a body that carefully descended. In the darkness, a woman appeared, seemingly in her 50s. She silently stepped down, moved to the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, drank some milk, and ate something. She washed her hands in the sink. Every movement was as if she were in her own home. Then, as if nothing had happened, she climbed back into the cabinet. The door closed. Silence returned. The man was frozen. A stranger was living in his home at night. He didn't know what to do. His heart pounded. His hands trembled. But without a moment's hesitation, he picked up the phone and called the police. His voice, filled with panic, made his words hard to understand. The police responded with urgency. Soon, officers arrived at the apartment. The man led them directly to the kitchen cabinet. The officers carefully opened the door. Inside, a dark, narrow space, dusty, airless. And there, curled up, lay a woman. Her eyes were open. She stared at them without moving, silent but alive. Beside her were a few blankets, empty water bottles, half-eaten food packages. In this tiny space, she had lived for days, perhaps weeks, without making a sound, leaving no trace. The woman was 58 years old, homeless. She had been living on the streets for a long time. One day, the apartment owner, a 57-year-old man living alone, had forgotten to lock his door. That moment was an opportunity for her. She slipped in silently, and from that day on, she never left. During the day, she was completely silent. She spent all her time inside the cabinet, holding her breath, not moving. But at night, she was free within the apartment. While the man slept, she would emerge from the cabinet, go to the kitchen, open the refrigerator, eat something. She even used the toilet, washed her hands in the sink. Then, as if nothing had happened, she would return. Two strangers, in the same home, one living unknowingly with the other. They had never met, never spoken, but the woman had secretly turned the man's home into her own, like a silent ghost living in the dark. The woman was immediately taken into custody. Even the police found it hard to believe what they had seen. The Japanese media headlined the story, "Woman living in closet." The apartment owner was in shock. For months, he had unknowingly shared his home with a stranger every night. His greatest fear was the thought that she might have been watching him each night. He couldn't stay in that apartment. When he closed his eyes at night, he seemed to see a face emerging from the darkness. Silence no longer brought him peace, but unease. Thriller movies may be fictional, but sometimes real life overshadows fiction. The world is still full of unresolved, untold stories, and we will bring them to light. If you're intrigued by the human mind, mystery, and the unknown, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and make sure you don't miss our next deep dive.